Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for your second video of the day. The transfer window is closed. If you want to hear my thoughts on the Jadon Sancho'S signing, the Osimhen collapse deal that didn't happen, check out the earlier video from today. This is your Crystal Palace preview. And I want to get it straight out the gate here. I genuinely feel as though this is such an important game for Chelsea. An important game for the confidence of the players, and particularly a big game for Enzo Maresca. A big game to try and galvanise the Stamford Bridge crowd. The first home game of the season, I was there against Man City, and to be quite honest, I didn't like the atmosphere. I go to Stamford Bridge normally, and whether we win, lose or draw, you can kind of feel as though you're part of a collective, something a bit bigger than just sitting at home, watching in front of the telly. You either care a lot or you care a little bit, doesn't really matter. But Stamford Bridge felt like a hostile environment before a ball was even kicked. And I'm not exaggerating here, and I'm not trying to make it a bigger deal than it actually is, but I will say, I think we need a home victory. I think the deflation that we feel after yesterday's transfer window ending, still not having a number 9. Lots of people still think that we should have signed a good centre-back or kept Trevor Chalobah. We're playing against Palace, the team that he has just signed for. Obviously, he's not going to be playing against us tomorrow, but Crystal Palace at Stamford Bridge have often given us some serious worries. So I'm going to build a Chelsea 11 here in Enzo Maresca's image, an 11 that I would also like to see. And what I think at the moment is pretty much as close to a strongest 11, almost, that I think we can see. Before we do get into that, though, Jadon Sancho signed yesterday, and I think he's going to be a fan favourite when it comes to the shirt and what you can get on the back of it. If you do want to buy the new home kit, away kit, third kit, or anything in the Megastore for that matter, I've got a discount code for you, GBFC10. There's a QR code on the screen now, or you can check the link in the description. 10% off everything in the Megastore. Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. 1 win, 6-2, emphatic away at Wolves. 1 loss at home to Manchester City. And I think this game today has a lot of importance. I think the way that people are still looking at Maresca is you're getting us playing really good football, but then again, we've pretty much got a whole squad full of attackers. And then defensively, we're still looking weak. I think it's a big game tomorrow for the back four. We've still not got any Reece James. He'll be coming back into the team. And there's also no Romeo Lavia for the game tomorrow. 2 of the best defensive players at the club. So, after the international break, we'll have those 2 coming back into the team to look forward to. But I think it's important here that we set the right tone. The first international break of the season, you just get started into the new season. You're getting into the flow of things. You played a couple of games and then boom. We got to deal with flipping England again. Brilliant, or whatever country you're from. The international break, it happens too quickly. But it is what it is. We've got to work with it. And I think Chelsea tomorrow, we've got to start winning our home games. And I do think that there is an element of the performance at Wolves where the animosity that can come across from the crowd at Stamford Bridge, we're very expectant at Chelsea. We expect our team to perform. We expect our team to attack. That was the main thing I realised from the fans. Enzo Maresca even turned around and was like, what the bloody hell's going on? I'm not telling anybody what to do when they're at Stamford Bridge, but we need an atmosphere. We need to get behind the players. And I think right now, when we look at what happened yesterday with Osimhen and not coming through the door, it's very easy right now to look at the club and be like, the sporting director should have done better. What are we doing in the transfer window? How have we gone there on a private jet and come back without Victor? The fact of the matter is, the transfer window is closed. We can do absolutely nothing about it but support the players that we've got, and particularly Nicholas Jackson. I think this is a big moment for him now. Chelsea wanted a new number 9, and it is up to him to show why, in the January transfer window, we don't need to go looking for a striker. If Nicholas Jackson can convert a higher percentage of the big chances that he missed last season, then his numbers are going to be fantastic. 14 Premier League goals last year is absolutely nothing to turn your nose up at, but we need more. Chelsea need more. We've got to build on the result against Wolves and kind of just put to the back of our minds just how awful we were on Thursday night in Geneva. So, The team that you'll see here is virtually completely different. We have got a completely different back line. There's only a couple of players that even featured that are going to feature in this game. We begin with Robert Sanchez in goal. This is a big game for him too, because if for whatever reason he makes some high-profile errors tomorrow, then Enzo Maresca's got a headache. He said that Sanchez is the number one, but how many errors is it going to be until he's not the number one? I don't think he was bad last week against Wolves. There's not much he could have done about either of the goals, and he's back in goal today. Malo Gusto, Wesley Fofana, Levi Colwill, and Marc Cucurella. This is, without question right now, the best back four that we have got at the club. Reece James is obviously injured, so we can't count him in that. And in terms of that inverted role, I think what we're going to see from Maresca, which he's not been frightened to do, he did it against City. We're always led to believe that it was going to be either Gusto, Cucurella, stepping up into that midfield. If it needs to be a conventional back four, he's already shown that he can do that. In terms of who it is that inverts, I want it to be Cucurella more. We saw it at the end of last season under Pochettino, and for a man who said he's watched so many tapes, he knows everything about the players, everything about this team, I think Maresca would do a good job in seeing Cucurella in that role, particularly tomorrow against Palace. Let Gusto be more of an attacking fullback. Let him partner up with Noni Madueke, who's also got a brilliant relationship with Cole Palmer going forward. So, as for the midfield pivot, right now, this is another alarming position. To be quite honest, Enzo and Caicedo have to play, because who else could it possibly be in that role? I think Enzo will deploy himself a bit deeper when we attack and we create opportunities with the five going forward. I think Caicedo will step forward. I think something that I've noticed about Enzo Fernandez, we spoke about it after that Wolves game. As soon as he gets into the final third, it's where the quality of output diminishes. When he can see the whole of the game and he's working around that middle area of the pitch, that is where Enzo Fernandez is at his best. We don't want him to get too far forward, because when he's got to track back, we're not talking about the paciest midfielder in the world, are we? So as much as he works really hard, I want to see him not having to do so much running. I want Caicedo to do more of the running and Enzo to be pulling the strings in the middle. We move into a front four. Pedro Neto missed out on the game against Servette. I don't even know if he was in the squad, to be honest, but he didn't play. And he's still recovering. And he played a little bit more than I think Maresca would have wanted him to last week against Wolves. And as much as he was a game changer, and he was brilliant in that second half, completely different to what we saw from Mudryk, I've gone with a different front four here. Noni on the right, Cole Palmer in the 10, Joao Felix on the left for a Stamford Bridge second debut, and Nicholas Jackson through the middle. I think Christopher Nkunku started the game against Servette, and as much as he scored, I think, 5 goals in his last 5 starts for Chelsea, penalty again against Servette in midweek, Cole Palmer has to play centrally. And what we saw last week between Madueke and Palmer is the combination right now. That was absolutely delightful. 3 assists for Palmer, 3 goals for Noni. And these two have to be playing next to one another. Noni has got to be out there on the right-hand side. Crystal Palace wanted to sign a left-back. I don't think they did yesterday. So Noni is going to be out there giving their defenders a hard time. Cole Palmer able to roam. And I think Nicholas Jackson will be able to drop. That is what we have seen. That's what we know Jackson does well. And then Joao Felix is also comfortable moving into those central areas. So what I'm excited about now that we've actually got the Chelsea squad available, not only is Jadon Sancho probably going to be announced at halftime tomorrow at Stamford Bridge, which will be fantastic, he should be there, but also what we've got to come off the bench. To be able to get Pedro Neto on the pitch, to be able to get Christopher Nkunku on the pitch, it's very exciting. As much as we wanted to sign Osimhen, we could have done with an Ivan Toney. Hell, we could have done with anyone really for numbers and the striker number 9 position. We do have an abundance of attackers. I don't think Mudryk's going to be anywhere near the team anytime soon. Maybe off the bench, but look, at this point in time, Chelsea have been ruthless. We've signed Jadon Sancho. I'm really excited about Sancho. I think when you look at this lineup that we've got here, he can go on the left, he can go on the right. And I think it's going to be very exciting this season when we start to see the competitiveness with these players like Think about that bullish arrogance that Sancho has, very similar to Noni. Hopefully they don't clash. I think they're going to get on well. And then also, as an Englishman, the idea of a Sancho, Palmer, Madueke, 3 Englishmen in attack, that is very exciting indeed. But Crystal Palace, they're no joke. They've had a good window as well. They've just got Trevor Chalobah in. He's not going to play tomorrow. Mark Gurhey is staying at Crystal Palace this summer. He's going to be in the team tomorrow too. Oliver Glasner, good manager, did really well when he came in last season. But I think Chelsea have got to win this game. I think not only are fans a little bit like, what the hell is going on? We got beaten by Servette, and then we had a very underwhelming deadline day. Sancho, great, brilliant. We're happy he's through the door. We're excited for what he can bring, and he's back where we think he belongs. He's a London boy, Chelsea fan. I'm happy we signed him. But we wanted that number 9, and I think there's a lot of question marks right now about A, the defence, B, if tomorrow we start missing a load of big chances, like it could start to feel quite toxic very quickly. I think a lot of questions need to be asked of the sporting directors. I think overall, it was a good transfer window. We've made some really astute signings for really good prices. But if we keep on missing chances, ironically, we scored 6 last week. But look, we've got to be clinical here. Otherwise, we're going to come in for scrutiny. People are going to wonder why we couldn't get that striker through the door. I'm hoping more than anything else tomorrow, I'd love to win 6-2 again, but I'd also love a clean sheet. A clean sheet tomorrow and 3 points would be the ideal scenario going into the international break. But Palace are dangerous going forward too. I'm going to say score prediction, Chelsea 2, Crystal Palace 1. That is what I think is going to happen. I think Jackson scores and Cole Palmer also scores. Let me know your score predictions in the comments down below. What do you think about Chelsea 11? And make sure you check out the news video to find out my full thoughts on the whole Osimhen end of that saga, putting that one to bed. And of course, Jadon Sancho coming through the door, as well as the Sterling and Chalobah and Breuer exits. As well as that, I will be live for the game tomorrow. I'm going to go live 90 minutes before kickoff throughout the match. And then 6 Things We Learned will be uploaded straight after the game. So make sure you're subscribed to the George Benson Football Channel. It's been a mega week. We're not stopping now. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you tomorrow.